If you like the podcast, if you like what we're sharing with you, and you can just help us sort of bring up those two metrics, the 24-hour and the 7-day downloads, that would be super, super, super helpful as we try to just really move forward in order to continue supporting our community. Welcome to LatinX Can, a podcast showcasing Latinx professionals who turn their dreams into realities. I'm your host, la doctora Jflo Flores Delgado, and today I'm here with Dr. Agustin Diaz, co-creator and host of LatinX Can Podcast en Español, talking about how you can support us to continue growing our community. And we are here to tell you, sí se puede, my friends, sí se puede. Dr. Agustin Diaz, welcome to LatinX Can.
Thank you for having me.
Well, as you know, we just wanted to get together. I think for the audience that maybe doesn't know you, introduce yourself.
What do you mean they don't know me?
Well,
I have an episode 6 is about me, and I am the one making the episode in Spanish. I am Dr. Agustin Diaz. I am Janire's husband, and I am one of the co-creators of the LatinX Can podcast.
Yeah. And so the reason why I say that is because in the last couple of months, we've had a lot of growth in the podcast. And
Awesome.
so then what I think is that there may be people out there that are listening to the podcast, but haven't maybe made their way all the way to episode 6, I think is your episode.
Awesome. So we need to make them to go back to listen to the first episodes when we showcase each one of the members of the co-creators of the Latinx Can podcast.
Yeah, that's true. That's season 1 of LatinX Can. Wow, that was all the way back in 2020.
2023 years now, huh?
Almost 3 years, yeah. And so if there are people out there that don't know, like we're both scientists, right? Like you studied chemistry, I studied chemistry, we both have our PhDs, and you're still working in a technical role now. And I am not working in the lab anymore. I don't work in a technical role, but I still use a lot of data on my day-to-day job. I still analyze a lot of data on my day-to-day job. So data really is pretty much at the core of what we do in our jobs and as scientists in our core as well. So I just wanted to show you something from all the downloads that we have had in the last 2 years. And so I just wanted to share with you this so that you can maybe help our listeners understand how big the growth has been over the last couple of months.
Oh, wow. So what I'm seeing here is significant growth. Actually, is kind of an exponential growth. We have great tendency, especially in 2022. We are getting 3 order of magnitude of growth, which is amazing. It's really cool, huh?
Yeah, for sure. And I think a part of the episode today is just to thank all the listeners that have stuck with us all the way from the beginning of the podcast during the pandemic in 2020 and those that are still with us. We have a super engaged audience as well. So it's almost like every listener downloads at least 3 times an episode. But before we get there, I think that the point of this episode is, of course, to recognize the amazing growth that we have had over the last couple of months and really thank our listeners for sticking with us, for being here with us. And then the things that we wanted to talk about is really how you can support us, right? Everybody know we don't charge for the podcast. Everything is free. We think it's amazing content that people can take and they can use in their daily lives. And the vision that I have for this project, and it would be great if we can make it happen, is that eventually we would like to monetize the podcast so that we can create a scholarship fund, right? And so to do that, we really need the support of our audience because it's not like we're asking them for money. Support doesn't always come in the form of money. but support can come in different ways, right? And so that's why we wanted to make this episode today to just let our audience know what support can look like. And so it would be great if they can start with supporting us in a few of the ways that we're going to explain today.
So, in order to support the episode, we're not asking for any type of monetary donation. If you want to do it, more than welcome. But what we're trying to get is more audience to keep growing these numbers and then get support from sponsors that will be interested in promoting their products in our podcast. So all of this also will come with certain type of scrutiny, right? We're not going to be accepting any kind of products, right? Or any type of sponsor that probably is going to be offering stuff that are not aligned to what we're trying to express in the podcast. So that also is why we're asking your support so we can be more picky in the type of sponsor that we're going to be getting.
Yeah, for sure. And so I think we know that the numbers are looking good, but I think one of the things that sponsors look like when they try to understand whether a podcast is right for them is they look at two metrics, at least as we understand it. The first one is the 24-hour downloads per episode. And then the next one is the 7-day download per episode, right? And so I think in terms of the general numbers, we're doing good. And what we need from our listeners is to really support us in bringing those 24-hour numbers up and those 7-day numbers up, right? So if anybody can, whoever listens to the podcast and likes what they're listening to and they like the type of advice, I think one thing that can be really, really helpful is for them to subscribe. And then I don't know if it happens automatically, but if you subscribe, you also have the option of downloading the episodes as soon as they are live on the platforms, whatever platform you choose to listen to podcasts on. And so if that happens, then that will be really helpful because that means that everybody who is subscribed to the podcast can automatically kind of count for that 24-hour download, right?
That's super important. Those are some of the most important metrics for a podcast. What else do we need to do, Jenny?
I think that would be great. And then if you can sort of download it in the first 24 hours, then the next thing is to try and listen to the podcast that first week that it's out. We always put it out on Instagram, on LinkedIn, or on our Facebook page. And so if you can find a way to just maybe download it and save it in your phone so that you can listen to it within the next 2 weeks. But I think the really important part right here is that if you like the podcast, if you like what we're sharing with you, and you can just help us sort of bring up those two metrics, the 24-hour and the 7-day downloads, that will be super, super, super helpful as we try to just really move forward in order to continue supporting our community.
So now that you say that, is also for us it will mean the word if you subscribe to the podcast and at the same time you go to social media and subscribe on social media to the podcast. So go to the Instagram, go to the Facebook, go to the TikTok and subscribe so you keep informed of what is coming in the podcast and all the other extra material that we're putting out there for you.
TikTok didn't really ever pick up for us because I don't have any time to be dancing around and then, making videos for everybody. So maybe don't waste your time on TikTok.
Well, TikTok is forbidden for me because I'm a government contractor. I cannot have those kind of stuff in my cell phone. So sorry.
Yeah. So maybe if you want to save your time, don't go to TikTok. There's nothing there to see. But I think maybe the main website, the main social media we use is Instagram. LinkedIn is also always very active.
Oh, the other favor that I'm gonna ask you is when I don't know if you do this, but every time that I meet with friends and start conversation with people, I always ask like, and I hear this a lot. What is your favorite Netflix show? What are you watching right now? You can do the same with podcasts. It's like, what is your favorite podcast? What are you hearing right now? Please, if you really like our podcast, recommend our podcast and tell like, hey, you need to look for this podcast and you have to subscribe to it. And that is going to help a lot. I do it all the time. So
Yeah. And I mean, I guess the other thing that I wanted to talk about is if we're asking people to join, right, to subscribe to the podcast, I think it's only fair that we also provide content that is meaningful to the people that are joining our community, right? And so one of the things that we can get our audience input is by having a survey related to maybe what people like, what people don't like, what people would like to see for the podcast, right? And so this month and until the end of the season, we are going to be running our survey for everybody to participate, to let us know what is it that they like, to let us know, if the episodes are too long or if the episodes are too short. Some time ago, we used to do two-part episodes where we would post the first part of the episode one week, and then 2 weeks later we would post the second part of the episode in order to make them shorter than 45 minutes, right? But we didn't see that pick up so well in terms of the numbers and the downloads. And so I think the opportunity here is for those people who are listening, for those people who are part of our loyal members that just continue to listen to the podcast, if you can help us by just filling out a survey. The link to the survey is going to be attached to the notes for the episode, but I'm also going to put it on our link tree on Instagram, right? So that there'll be a link to the survey there as well. And it's really quick. It will take less than 5 minutes. It's really easy to answer the questions. And then if you do it, you'll get a chance to participate for a $50 gift card. So this is going to be kind of cheesy, but biggest gift will be your feedback for us anyway. But we want to thank you as well by giving you the opportunity to earn some cash there.
That would be like super helpful for us. We really want to know what is in your mind, what do you think we care about, what you like, and we are here to please you, right? So trying to help you get that extra motivation, that extra advice that you need to improve your career, to improve your personal life, to improve even your health, your mental health. Is some topics that I'm trying to get more into the podcast. So if those are topics that resonate to you, please let us know so we can keep doing it.
Yeah. And you actually get quite a bit of feedback from people out you talk to everybody, you're super social. What is a piece of feedback that you often get?
Well, usually they really like the content. They are looking more for the advice, for the actionable advice, and they are looking for different type of topics. Some of them are more interested into the finance part of the equation that we usually do episodes with financial expert giving advice of, like what to do with your money once you start getting this professional career and you start making some wealth. And others are really into the advice to how to grow professionally, like steps that you need to take and put in action in order to keep growing your career and getting those salary raises, salary negotiations, and that kind of aspects. Those have been the two biggest topics. Now I'm getting a little bit more feedbacks of people that are asking for non-traditional success stories. So not the traditional go to university, do your degrees and grow and become a professional, like with the natural path that academia offers you, but more like an episode that we did for like with Jose Munoz that is coming from straight from high school and hustle your way
Angel
all the way.
Munoz.
Angel Munoz, yeah, Angel Munoz, and hustle your ways all the way up there to success.
Yeah. Well, now that you talk about it and mentioned salary negotiation, I was reading some of the news on LinkedIn yesterday, and I saw this little script that they have that in general, people are not negotiating their salaries. And in general, like women are being shorted in salary negotiations, but that really isn't any news. But overall, 58% of men and 61% of women didn't negotiate salary at all. And the ones that did were often rewarded because they actually negotiated. So of, those 40% of people that actually negotiated their salary, 66% either got what they asked for or more than the original offer. So the lesson here is that if you're not negotiating your salary, you're leaving money on the table. And we have an episode that can help you start building the confidence and understanding how is it that you can start negotiating your salary, because it's really, really important. So more than 50% of people that actually negotiate their salary get more money in that negotiation.
Well, it's just super important to know. It's a great piece of information right there. The other aspect that we would like to bring, if you're a listener and you wants to be interviewed, we are open to talk with you and showcase your story with the rest of the community. So if you're out there and this podcast resonate to you and you say, I have a lot to share and I can give advice, actionable advice to the community, please let us know. Send us an email, find us on Instagram, and get in contact. We'll be happy to interview you.
Yeah, for sure. And so the second thing that we wanted to talk to everybody today is about a way that they can also support us, right? By just wearing a little bit of our merchandise. So tell us about the t-shirts that we have available, Dr. D.
So we become super creative, and I'm trying to get like this t-shirts, LatinX Can t-shirts with different type of words that are kind of slang. Yeah, it's a slang from different type of country. For example, I'm from Puerto Rico, and might say corillo. And probably you have heard this word a lot, corillo, especially in reggaeton songs, because most of these are reggaeton singers come from Puerto Rico. But you don't know the real meaning. And the real meaning of corillo is a group of people, a group of like really close friends. It's like it comes from the word coro, so it's like a diminutive of the word coro, which is choir. So it's corillo is a small choir, but also are your buddy. It's like your family, right in there. So my shirt say corillo and then have the English meaning of the word corillo in there. And then in the back, of course, you're gonna have the LatinX Can logo, the Instagram handle, and the hashtag, my favorite hashtag, si se puede MF. Si se puede MF. It was supposed to be Si se puede, my friends. That's what it means, the MF, but it's too long, so too many letters, and it doesn't look good in the shirt. So Si se puede MF, and everybody for some reason love it. Every time that I wear the shirt and I go around, everybody has something to say about that hashtag. Wonder why. I don't know. But we also have another one for Venezuelans, say panas. Panas have kind of the same meaning of corillo, and it looks really nice from Venezuelan people. We're trying to look for another one for Mexican word or from Guatemala. So we're looking for possibles words that have the same meaning. That what is a corillo, what is a pana out there. So if you want a shirt, let us know. Get in contact again. We are selling the shirts. How much is that we're charging for the shirts? For the
It's
shirts?
$20.
It's
And
$20. Yeah. Yeah, and the word that you want to do for your country that have that meaning. The meaning at the bottom never change, but it's going to change the word in the top. So you have to mean that stuff. If you want more information, let us know. We're going to be posting the shirts on Instagram too, so you can see it.
yeah, and we are also going to have a sign up form so people can pre-order the t-shirts on the form. It's also going to be in the show notes, and then once they fill out the form, I will send them an email, and then we can coordinate the design and the kind of wording that they have. But I think that my top candidate for Mexican slang for the t-shirts is going to be cuates. And I want to know if that makes sense or not. So anybody, let us know.
And si se puede, my friends. Si se puede, MF.
Okay. And then the last thing that I wanted to share with everybody today.
That's a really important one. So if
Yeah,
you're
for sure.
especially people in the Houston area or nearby city, hear this because it's going to be an amazing opportunity.
So we are going to have our first event in person ever for Latinx Can Podcast. And it's going to be
Yes.
a live recording session in Midtown at the headquarters of Greentown Labs, which for those who don't remember, Juliana Garaizar, episode 29, she is
Yes.
the head of the Houston headquarters for Greentown Labs. And so we reached out to her and she was amazing at supporting us. So they are going to provide the event space for free. And we're going to have a live interview with Carlos Torres, who is a Venezuelan entrepreneur that has had his entire career in petroleum industry, and he is the head of the Society of Petroleum Engineers Gulf Coast section. So
Yeah, oil and gas in general have been a really diverse type of community because the places in which the petroleum is located is mostly before the 80s offshores, and that opened the doors to be an extremely diverse type of community, which is great. If there is an industry that have developed these diversities and have experienced the real value of having a diverse community is the oil and gas, right?
yeah. And so what happens in Houston then is very unique because it's a hub for energy in the United States. It's a hub for the petroleum industry. So that means that all of that very diverse workforce finds themselves in the Houston area and working for the same cause, right? So then one of the things that we want to really tap into in this conversation is talk about how we can really capitalize on the value of that diverse workforce so that the petroleum industry can actually take on, well, they're already taking on the challenge, but really try to achieve the goals of the energy transition, right? I know that we haven't talked about climate change in the podcast yet, but we know that it's real and it exists, and we know it is human cost. And so I think it's really important to understand that there has to be an energy transition. We can't keep doing the same things that we keep doing and expect that crazy weather won't affect us, and extreme weather events that are supposed to happen every 1,000 years keep happening every 5 years. And so I think one of the things that's important is that the oil industry can tap into that diverse workforce so that they can accelerate the energy transition. And so I think it'll be a great conversation, and we're going to have a networking session afterwards so everybody can come and have a drink on us.
Are we gonna have tequeños?
I haven't decided if we're going to have tequeños yet because, tequeños are better when they are served hot, but we will have food, some, appetizers. We will have drinks. That is, I think, maybe even more exciting, and it will be free for anybody. So all they have to do is register. And again, I'm going to have a link for the registration for the event. So all we want to do is, if you're in the Houston area, if you're passing by Houston, and on April 21st of 2023,
It's a
then
Friday. It's a
it's a
Friday.
Friday. So come by, say hi. We're starting at 3:30 p.m. and we'll be there until around 6.
The Greentown Labs are around the museum district here in Houston.
All right. So that's all I have for today. Is there anything else that you wanted to share with our audience?
Yes. If you like the episode in Spanish, let us know. If you want more episode in Spanish, let us know. We can make more of those for you. The numbers are really good on the Spanish episodes, so we are thinking really hard if we want to do a couple of extra episodes in Spanish. So get in contact. We're looking forward to working for you.
All right. Just so to recap, what can the audience do for us? The first thing is to subscribe and to listen to the episode if you can within the first 24 hours or the first 7 days of publishing the episode.
Follow us on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and spread the word. Every time that an episode come out, share it in your social media too. Hey, I heard this episode. I think it's a great episode, and put it out there.
For sure. And then again, if you can, come say hi in the Houston area on April 21st, Greentown Labs at 3:30 p.m. The registration link is going to be in the show notes, and we hope to see you there.
and get the shirts, merchandise. And we're starting with shirts. Probably we're going to do mugs. We're going to do caps. So there's a lot of stuff in the work. So let us know. Give us some feedback. Again, get in contact with us. We really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening. If you want to put a face to the voices you just heard, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at LatinX Can. If you have questions or feedback, you can email us at latinxcan@gmail.com. And if you want to support our project, please leave a review. We have made it easy for you and added the links to the show notes. That's it for now. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and remember, unidos somos más.